What is going on, people? This is Big B, Brian Hanley. Welcome to Steelers Almighty post-game edition, man, after preseason game number 3, the final preseason game of the season, or of the preseason. Steelers lose 24-17 to the Detroit Lions. But I don't think really that's the story. We'll get into that. On what the story is. I thought the Steelers looked a lot better now. Look, it was against the twos, so it is what it is. But you know what? Progress is progress, and they went out and did what they're supposed to do against them. So it is what it is. So first things first, again, man, thank you guys for being here. I love all you guys. Thanks for the support. Steelers Almighty, again, is the fastest growing Steelers channel on YouTube, and that's because of you guys, man. So we appreciate what you guys have done for us and all the support. Look, several different ways that you can help support and keep us pushing these things out to you. Super chats are wide open, so if you want to get your comment or question up on the screen, make sure you send those in, and you'll go right to the front of the line. But as always, you can always like, follow, subscribe, and comment as well. So we appreciate the support. Let's get into this, people. The Russell Wilson got one series, and he looked fine. I mean, it looked fine. Justin Fields got a couple. He looked fine. Again, it was vanilla play calling. It was against the twos. Was that enough of what you guys wanted to see? Because people were freaking out at the offense. Here's the thing. I'm not jumping off a bridge or jumping up and down. Yay, yay, yay. But I'm happy. I'm satisfied because that's what number one offenses are supposed to do to number two defenses, if that makes sense. Because if they would have come out and not done anything again against a bunch of number twos, then we could have panicked. Then it's 100% time to panic. We could have just thrown in the towel at that point. Because if the number ones are getting shut down by number twos, then it's like, okay, what are we doing here? What is going on? So, and just the one thing again that I just don't understand what the hell is going on. If Broderick Jones is hurt, and by all intents and purposes, it looks like that the man is hurt. Can somebody please explain to me why he was out there with the number 2 offensive line? I just want to know. I mean, somebody tell me. Somebody let me know. The man was hurt. We know he was hurt. We saw him out there playing hurt. The number ones are off the field, but this guy who is supposed to be your future left tackle is still out there playing with the number 2 offensive line. Why? I don't know. It's beyond me on the reasoning of that. I just don't get it. Now, thank goodness he didn't get hurt any worse. But does a man that started over half the season last year just need the reps at right tackle? I don't think so. The man doesn't need the reps. Or is the backup right tackle really that bad that you can't even get good work or decent work? Because that guy can't, well, that's a Steelers problem. That's not a Broderick Jones problem. You got to fix that on your own. Get your starters out of there. But he got out. So he got out. And I don't know. I didn't like it, but it is what it is. It is what it is. The thing that you all are mentioning in the chat here, Ryan Watts, that didn't look good at all. But he walked off the field. So he walked off. Hopefully it was like a stinger. Maybe he got knocked out. Not that I'm saying, glad he got knocked out. You guys are intelligent. You know what I'm saying. Because it could be way worse. We've seen worse. So he walked off under his own power. He didn't seem to be knocked out. So maybe he's just got something. Maybe it's a stinger, maybe a neck injury of some sort. But he didn't get carted off or anything like that. So thank goodness, because it didn't look good at all. He got hit and he went limp immediately. I'm like, damn, man. So hopefully he can get better, because I still think that he can be a key contributor in some facet on this football team. You know I've been pushing Ryan Watts anyway. So what did you like? What did you not like? Let's get into this a little bit. Like I said, Russell Wilson looked okay. He was fine. Justin Fields, he was fine. The run game was fine. We saw climbing up to second level. Zach Frazier on the touchdown by Patterson. Zach Frazier and Siamala double teamed up to the linebacker. Siamala comes off on the linebacker. It's literally exactly how you draw it up. That's what they did. Touchdown. Patterson made a guy miss, and they got into the end zone. It looked like maybe Patterson is back into shape. It looks like he's back healthy because that looked like an explosive run from a guy. You know what I'm saying? It looked like a run from a guy that, you know what? He's got something. He's got a little wiggle. I don't feel as bad about our running back room now, even if Jaylen Warren is hurt. Because that run by Patterson, again, it was against the twos, but it was just up the middle. I mean, it was just up the middle, made a guy miss. I feel better because I saw the explosion. I saw it. So I feel a little bit better about our running back room. So I feel better. Our pass rush, Jiminy Christmas, that first series, I mean, Nick Herbig just decided you're not going to throw the football. If you're going to drop back and pass, you're not going to throw the football. I got on Twitter and somebody was like, well, Nick Herbig, he's an animal, he's a beast, and he is. But I was like, just relax. It's against the twos. And they were like, well, he is a two. And I thought, well, yeah, you're right. I go, but does anybody really consider Nick Herbig a number two? I don't. He's a 1B. He's a 1B. I think he's going to have a big season this year. He has to. Because I think the Steelers are going to trade Alex Highsmith next year because they're going to re-sign Watt to a big deal, and they're not going to be able to pay both guys all that money. They're going to trade Highsmith in the offseason. Herbig looks like he's the guy to step in. I think he has a big year. So Keanu Benton did his thing. Larry O, again. Larry O's been just all off season. Larry Ogunjobi has been a different beast. And it showed up again today. I'm feeling better and better about the Steelers' defensive line and the defensive line depth. It was a question mark coming into camp. Now, again, it's all preseason stuff, man. But I'm just feeling better about it. Those guys you still got to perform. Whether it's preseason or not, you got to go out there and flash and make a play or two. And Larry O's done that. Leal didn't do a ton today, but I liked what I saw from him. You get into the defensive tackles. Look, Dean Lowry didn't get pushed around. I thought Loudermilk made a couple of good pass rush moves. Couple of good moves. Batted down a pass, caused another pressure. I thought Loudermilk had his best day as a pass rusher as far as preseason games. But in the run game, Loudermilk again was getting pushed around. On the first touchdown that Detroit had, he got double teamed. He was 3 yards in the end zone. I'm like, come on, man. Drop to a knee. Make a pile. Do something. Don't just get driven back. I'm not sure we can keep Loudermilk. I'm not. I mean, it's not that I'm rooting against him. But if that's the best you can do against the number 2 or offensive line, then what are we supposed to do? Didn't look good, man. Didn't look good. So let's see. Let's get to some comments here, man. Let's get to some comments. Herbig is different. Yeah, he is. He's different. And again, it's against the number 2 defense or offensive line. I understand it, but he was doing that against the ones. Herbig is a guy. I mean, he's a dude. I like him. Like I said, he's going to be the reason that Alex Highsmith gets traded next year. Because Highsmith will. They can't pay him and Watt. Steelers got to start spending some money on offense. Highsmith goes. Herbig gets pushed in. Boom. We don't miss a beat. So, too many missed tackles by the 3s and 4s. I agree with you. There was a lot of missed tackles, but it was missed tackles by the 3s and 4s. That's we hate to say it like this, but the guys that were out there missing tackles are not guys that are going to be on the team on Wednesday. I mean, Just is what it is. Those are not guys that are going to be on the team Wednesday. So, as rough as that might sound, you know how Steelers Almighty, you know how we do, man. We just tell the truth. And by telling the truth, those guys just won't. So I thought we looked okay. And they look slow, but that's why they're not going to be on the team. So it is what it is. It is what it is. Man Jacob says Alex signed a contract last year. Yeah. Doesn't mean you can't be traded. Doesn't mean that. I mean, he signed it last year, but that doesn't mean that, the Steelers can't make moves. And they will. So what do you think? I mean, we saw nothing today that's going to change whether Russell Wilson is going to be the starter or Justin Fields is going to be the starter. I thought it was fair that they gave Fields an opportunity with the ones. And he got his opportunity with the ones, and he didn't look bad. I thought he looked fine. I thought he was throwing the ball around, zipping it over the middle, making good throws, making good reads. So I thought it was fair, but did we see anything that says, okay, we got to start Justin Fields over Russell Wilson, other than we can run some quarterback sweeps, we can run zone reads, zone options, we can do that kind of stuff with Fields that we just can't do with Russell Wilson. And if that's the route we go, okay. But I still think it's Wilson's job. So, what do you guys think? Did you see anything that made you think any different? Because I didn't see anything that made me think any different. It is what it is. So, I think it is what it is at this point. Is Wilson week one? But I will say this. It's Wilson week one, and then we will go from there. Now, we know Mike Tomlin, he's not going to have a quick trigger, and he's not going to yank Wilson out after one bad week. So we need to be prepared for Wilson to be in this for a minute. We need to be prepared. We can't just sit around and say, oh, well, Wilson played bad week one, so Fields will get the next start the next week. That's not going to happen, people. That's just not going to happen. And if we're being honest with ourselves, it shouldn't happen. If you're the starter, you're starting week one and that's it. So now I got to perform. And if I don't perform the way you think, I'm out. Or is that the train of thought that we need to have with these two? Hey, man, somebody needs to be the starter. Somebody needs to take this job and run with it. We're giving you an opportunity, but if you fall on your face after week one, we're going to the other guy. We're not going to just let this season go by trying to get you to get better, and then all of a sudden we're a quarter of the season gone, and then we got to make a change. I mean, I see both sides of it. I just know Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin's not going to do that. And maybe that's I know there's a lot of you that don't like Tomlin out there. And maybe that's a reason. But I know Mike Tomlin's not going to have a quick hook on the starting quarterback. I mean, hell, how long did he stay with? Initially, he stayed with Trubisky. And then initially, he moved. And then he went with Trubisky again before he went to Rudolph this past year. So, whew. My man, Capricorn Steel with the super chat. Thank you. We appreciate you. We love you. And Russ is what he says. And Russ, I got to trust because I don't trust Fields right now, B. Capricorn Steel, I think you're exactly right. I think you're right. I just don't trust Fields not to put the ball in harm's way. I mean, everything else I can live with. I can even live with the inaccurate passes from time to time. But I don't trust him not to turn the football over. Now, hey, guys, I know there's going to be some people out here that try to say, well, he dropped another snap. That was 100,000% on Zach Frazier. It wasn't Justin Fields. If you watch the play, the guard is turning around to look at Fields to see when to snap the ball, and Frazier snapped it. Hell, Fields wasn't even looking. He was sending a guy in motion. That was 1,000% on Frazier. So let's not go well, he dropped another snap. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. That was all on the center. All on the center. But we appreciate you, Mr. Capricorn Steel. We appreciate it. So we think it's Wilson. I'm fine. Let's go with Wilson. I'm fine. Let's go with Wilson. So, and getting that touchdown was good. Look, just some confidence of that corner route that he threw to Pickens for, what was it, 30 yards? Even that was enough for me to say, okay, let's take a breath. Now, granted, Pickens was wide open. It was against a number 2 or number 3 cornerback, but whatever. You still had to make the throw. And if you look, Russ is looking right first. This was his third read. He went 1, 2, comes back to 3, makes the throw. Love it. Love it. Okay, I can live with it. I can live with it. That is what it is at this point, people. I can live with that. So I like what I saw from both of them. Offensive line, again, just some confidence to push some people around. Just some confidence. I can live with that. And they did that. What else did we see, man? So the back showed some good speed. Look, I was a guy that said Pittsburgh is going to wait around and maybe try to get a running back that gets cut, of 53-man for the 53-man roster. We're going to leave back a spot for a running back from another team. After what I saw today, I don't know that the Steelers got to do that. I'll be honest. I don't think the Steelers got to do that, especially if Jaylen Warren is coming back he'll be back for week 1. If he is, I don't think we have to. I think what I saw today, if it's Perine, I like that. I had Edwards early. I think it's Perine. More explosion, more make a guy miss. Think he's faster too. I think he's got that job as the 4th running back. I think he's got that job. I'm willing to go that route with it. I think he's got the job, and that's good. That's good. Like I said, the more guys that we can keep in house, the better, and not having to go get a guy. And I think that helps. And this helps. Yeah, I saw something. At least it shows a little bit of development. And I was really surprised and happy to see Patterson. Patterson looked explosive today, people. He did. I know he wasn't in there much, but when he was in there, that's what we're wanting to see out of a situational running back. I'll take it. I'll take it all day long. So now, Capricorn, don't do that, man. Don't do that. Talking about guys are working for Faye. Look, I at one point was one of those guys trying to make a roster. I did it 1 year. I was one of those guys. And when you don't make it and you realize that your dream is being destroyed and that you're not good enough, it took me 3 years to recover. I just say that. It literally took me 3 years to recover. Ruined some friendships. It took me 3 years to recover that I wasn't good enough to be in the NFL. So let's not make fun of these guys that are out there trying to live their dream, man. Let's not do it. Let's not do it. I get what you're saying, but let's not do it. So either way, you are right that he played bad. We can say that he played bad. Look, Fisher, on that pass, it looked like he was about 10 yards downfield. The linebacker had dropped in coverage, and he's down there blocking him. I get the aggression, man. I applaud you for the aggression. But come on, bro. You got to know the plays. Can't be 10 yards downfield blocking linebackers. You can't do it. Oh. You just can't. You can't. So, no, Mike, it's true. It's true. It took me 3 years to recover, man. Here's the thing about me, and I can say this without any qualification. I was always the best player in high school. When I went to college, when I started playing football, I was one of the best linemen at K-State. I was. When I went to junior college, I was the number 1 junior college player in the country the year that I came out before I even went to Kansas State. Playing in the NFL is a different level, man. It just is. And when you realize that you're not good enough, because I was as good as I was going to be at 23 as far as physically in shape. And if I wasn't good enough then to even get in the door, well, why am I going to be good enough at 25? I wasn't going to be. So, and maybe you could say I quit. I think it was just more of I understood reality. So, but it is what it is. There is what it is. Good statement right here. There's going to be hundreds of men whose dreams come to an end on Tuesday. It's a tough hit for them, and I wish them the best in whatever they decide to do. Yeah. We can say that they played bad because that's fair. Look, you're playing professional sports. You're out there. If you played bad, you played bad, and we can say you played bad. But we don't need to turn the knife on them. We don't need to do that. And I don't even think Capricorn was doing that. He was just talking. My man he wasn't trying to do that. He's just talking. So, either way, I thought it was a good end to the preseason, man. I thought it was a good end to the preseason. We saw what we needed to see out of the ones. The twos weren't terrible. Threes and fours, they're not going to be on the team next week. So it is what it is. Yeah, it just is what it is. I like what I saw. Let's get to the 53. We'll break down what we see out of the 53, and then we'll go from there. Here's a reminder, man, for you guys. As always, like I mentioned, we have our Wednesday podcast. Steelers Almighty comes out, and I need you guys to start calling in, man. Start leaving messages on what you see, what you want to hear. The number again is 412-444-8390. That is 412-444-8390. That is the Steelers Almighty. Whether you want to call it the hotline, voicemail, whatever, just make sure you leave your name, your email, where you're calling from, and what your YouTube username is, and we'll decipher who's got the best of the week. We'll play a couple of those. I'll respond to it. We'll play it, and you'll be on the podcast, man. So I appreciate all of you guys doing that. Because we're going to start. If we get some good ones, we'll do it next Wednesday. So start calling in now. Man. We appreciate it. Let's see here. Going back to the chat. Arthur Smith is ready to cook, and Wilson got something for all the critics. Those passes had serious velocity and accuracy. Well, the one thing that I will say is, Big Sir, it looked like the passes had a lot more velocity than they did the previous week, didn't they? Last week, that's what I kept saying. Man, doesn't have anything on it. Is his arm gone? Well, today, it didn't look like that. Today, it looked like there was something on those throws. So maybe he just needed to get into it, get hit, get into a groove. But today, you're exactly right. It looked like those balls had some velocity on it, and I will take it. I will 100% take it. Good for him. He looked different. And I don't think he did anything to lose a job at all. So let's see. What else is going on here? Anything that I didn't cover? No, that's basically what it is. Look, I took notes on what I saw until the first half because I knew in the second half it was going to be mainly guys that weren't going to be there. And so there was no reason to cover that. In the previous game, we could have taken some notes, but the second half of the game, it was just guys that weren't going to be involved next week. So I'm excited about it, man. Are you guys excited? Because I'm ready. I'm ready. I caught the end of the Georgia Tech, Florida State football game. Did anybody catch the end of that? Football is back, baby. Whether you like NFL or you like college or you like both, football is back. Football is back. And sometimes you got to listen. Now, this is off Steelers topic, and I won't stay too long, but sometimes you just got to listen to people that know what the hell they're talking about. Everybody's so surprised that Georgia Tech won this game. You know who's not surprised? Nick Saban. Nick Saban came out and said, if Georgia Tech can get a little bit of defense, their offense and their running game is going to keep them in the game. They got a shot to win this thing. And damn it, if that's not exactly what happened. Sometimes you just listen to people that know what the hell they're talking about, man. So that's all. And enough about college. Again, I'm not going to get in too much trouble. I just wanted to bring that up. Sometimes we just got to listen to the guys that do it for a living. Sometimes those guys know what they're talking about. They do. That's why I love Saban being on that show, because he ain't going to be a guy that's on there clickbaiting and all this other nonsense. He's not going to do that. He's just going to tell it like it is, which is what we do here at Steelers Almighty. We just tell it like it is. We tell it like it is, man. So, again, we're going to have, just as our lineup, we'll do post-game, or during the week, we're going to do pre-game. We're going to do post-game lives. We'll have our weekly podcast that still come out on every Wednesday. Super chats are open for all of it, whether it's on our lives, whether it's on the podcast. You can always send a super chat in, again, to try to control the conversation the way you guys want to control it, man. That's totally up to you. Again, there's other ways that you can help support us, and we appreciate all the ways. And the other ways, again, just like, comment, subscribe. I don't take this lightly, and I know I've been saying it every show, but it's literally the truth. Steelers Almighty, the fastest growing, Steelers channel on YouTube. And it's because of you guys. We do our best. We put out great graphics. And not great, phenomenal graphics. I can speak on it because it's not me doing it. The graphics that my man puts together are phenomenal. I do my best, and this is what we got, man. So we put it together. But so, yeah, what we saw today was fine. It was fine. The only thing that would have made me nervous is that we went out there against the twos and we sucked. And that's not what happened. 2 drives, 2 touchdowns, okay. And then the third drive, people could say, well, they got sacked. Well, the backup tackle didn't get off the ball, the backup left tackle. People were trying to actually blame that one on Broderick Jones. I'm like, what was he supposed to do? Like, the pressure came from the backside. He got knocked off balance from people behind him. That wasn't his fault. So that wasn't his fault at all. But it looked all right. Looked all right today. Now let's get guys healthy that are a little banged up. Hopefully Ryan Watts, because I think Ryan Watts can be a contributor. Special teams. Oh, you know who flashed again today, people? Corey Trice. Yeah. Corey Trice again flashed. Look, he might be trying to steal some time. I mean, and everybody's been happy with Dante Jackson. And I'm not saying we shouldn't be. But first of all, I think Corey Trice might be a better athlete. Although Dante Jackson is super fast, I think Corey Trice might be a better corner. And he's trying to get some time. He flashed again, people. Trice is that guy. Again, I've said this several times. Y'all are probably tired of hearing me say it, but I'm going to continue to say it. He was graded out better than Joey Porter Jr. before the draft. He just injury. He had that injury history. So that's why he fell. I mean, but if he's healthy, we got us a steal. Yeah, we got us a steal. We do. Van Jefferson looked like he got banged up on that catch he made. Great grab, great throw by Fields. But it looked like he got banged up. He got up, but, little bumps and bruises. I feel like we took a step in the right direction. We can feel a lot better about the team today than we could after last week's game. We can feel better. And that's all we want, isn't it? Isn't it all we want is just to kind of feel better than to just be like, oh, my God, they suck. The season's over. They're terrible. We can't do anything. We don't feel like that today. Not reasonable people don't. Reasonable people don't feel that way today. They think, okay, let's see what we got. Let's go to Atlanta and let's see what we can do. Let's see what we can do. Because that's kind of how I feel. We'll see what's up. Quez is gone. I thought Quez was gone after the first preseason game. I knew he's not making this football team. The first preseason game, he's back there on the punt return. The first one, he catches the ball. There's not a soul within 15 yards of him. He calls for a fair catch. Okay, mistake number one. The second time, he comes up, and then he doesn't catch the ball. He lets the ball bounce when he just could have come up and called a fair catch. Doesn't. We lose 15 yards in field position because the ball bounces backwards. And then the third time, he tries to Willie Mays catch the ball over his shoulder, fumbles it. Houston gets it. I'm like, Quez Watkins is gone. This was his opportunity. Sometimes you only get one opportunity, man. And he was out there at the end of the game running with the team. Look, if you're in preseason 3 at the end of the game, the chances of you making this football team are slim to none. I'll just be honest with you. Slim to none. Not saying it's impossible, because it's not impossible. But I'm just saying it's slim to none. So, what do we got here? A couple more here before we take off. What do we got? I definitely feel better this morning. Thanks, brother. Hey, man, I feel better than this morning, too. I definitely feel better. Yes, I feel better. I think we all can take a collective, just woosah, woosah. You know, and don't get me wrong, this could all mean absolutely nothing and should mean absolutely nothing when we get to Atlanta. May not mean anything. It may not mean anything. But if it doesn't, okay. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. What about my man Bob here? Big B, do you think this year's offensive tackle first round pick will start in Atlanta? I do. Troy Fautanu, I do think he'll start. And the reason that I think he'll start is because there was word that if this was a real regular season game today, that he would have started. So, but I don't know. I think he'll start, but we've heard all the stuff. We've seen what Pittsburgh does to offensive linemen. Some guys that shouldn't be starting, they start from day one. And some guys that should be starting from day one, they want to work them in. Doesn't make sense to me. Any team that allowed Dan Moore Jr. to start from day one, but then you didn't let Broderick Jones, I'm not sure you know what you're doing, or the offensive line coach isn't doing his job. That's just my personal opinion. You let Kendrick Green start from day one at center. The man had never played center in his life. The first time he plays center is in the National Football League as a rookie. Come on, man. Come on. So, but that's okay. That's okay. I feel good about it. Who's making the 53? I mean, we've done it. We'll have a podcast on it. We've done a couple. I think there was only maybe 3 or 4 positions that are up for grabs. You know who I think needs to get a spot? Dez Fitzpatrick. I think Dez Fitzpatrick took Quez Watkins' spot. Because number one, he's good on special teams because he's a good gunner. And number two, I think he's a better receiver. I think Dez Fitzpatrick's got to be able. I think he's got to be on this football team. My personal opinion. I would rather have him than Scotty Miller. And that's not a knock on Scotty Miller, but maybe there's a way to keep both. I mean, they're going to have, let's just count them. I mean, the Steelers are going to have, 6 receivers? So Pickens, Jefferson, Roman Wilson's going to be on the team. And then what? That's the thing. It's like, okay, who's next? Who's next? So I don't know about Beanie, man. I don't know about Beanie. I don't. So I don't know. Look, you never want to see a guy miss out on an opportunity because of injury, but do the Steelers have the option of waiting for him to get healthy? I don't know that they do. I don't know that they want to. So, but yeah, I don't know about Beanie. I'm rooting for him. He's from my hometown. He's from Louisville, Kentucky. So I'm damn sure rooting for him. I'm just not sure he's going to make it. I'm not sure he's going to make it. But I think Fitzpatrick's got to be on the 53 man. I do. Yeah, I do. So, but we'll see. We'll see, people. Well, all right, man. I appreciate y'all. We're going to shut this one down for today. We are going to shut this one down. I appreciate everybody showing up. Next week, we'll figure out the schedule. We got a little bit of time, so we probably won't have another live again until Tuesday, because the 53-man roster will be announced then. I believe it's Tuesday because that's the 27th. So we won't be back until then, but we'll be back. So, again, man, I want to thank everybody for everything that you've done so far with Steelers Almighty. We appreciate you. Look, we started this thing April 4th, which is a special day in my heart because it's my late father's birthday. We started it April 4th of this year. We're almost at 2,300 subscribers. It's all because of you guys, man. So I appreciate everybody. I didn't think I didn't had no idea that we'd be here at this time. That's because of you. That is all because of you. So I want to thank you guys. Again, we'll be back. I'll be back with you on Tuesday night. Tuesday evening live. We'll pop this thing out, and then we'll go from there, see what's going on. We may do a little something in between there. We'll see, because I don't want to be gone for too long, because out of sight, out of mind. Ain't that right? Out of sight, out of mind. I'm gone for too long. You guys will forget about me. I don't need that to happen. We worked too hard, man. Together, we've worked too hard. So we'll put this thing together. We'll figure something out. But until then, thank you guys. I appreciate you, and I will holler at you guys later. Aloha.